myself, Gary Meninger, John Bailey's here with Clerk Treasurer Sonia Thompson and our Supervisor Jason Jackson. So, all right, we'll go ahead and get started.
All right. So, not here in any real official capacity at all. This has no benefit to me whatsoever. We do things in your community, and I'm from Fayetteville. My kids, up till now, have went to Eastern Green, and they'll be going to North Lawrence next year. But in the process of doing my day-to-day job, I work a lot within grants and things that tie to the DoD. This is a unique grant for communities around DoD installations. And what it essentially comes down to, and I don't know if you had the opportunity to share the link and you guys were able to read the documentation. The grant, the DCIP grant, is a way that the government can make things better for communities around bases without it being counted against the funding that goes to the base. It typically wants some type of construction. So when I talked to Jason about it, the first thing he came up with was the fire truck. That you needed like a $2 million fire truck. Well, this is one of those grants that's traditionally underutilized. It's very simple to apply to, and it has a minimum request of $250,000. So literally a $2 million request doesn't even dip in their pocketbook. And they obviously need to find ways to spend this money to keep this grant alive, to do things with it. So my thinking is, I came up with two scenarios. One, for a fire truck. Now, they like to see some type of construction tied to it. So in my thinking, a nice new big ladder truck probably needs a bay for itself. That becomes the whole picture. And I kind of outlined it, and I mean, it wouldn't be very hard to put this together. Like I said, it's only one or two forms, a couple paragraphs, and some attachments. And I said, okay, we need $2 million for the truck, and then we would say, okay, the truck's gonna have to have supplies. And we need to put a new bay on the garage to house this much larger, bigger apparatus. And then we tie it to the fact, so do you know if this fire department has like a cooperative agreement with Crane or anything, or the Westgate Tech Park?
I'm not sure if they do with Crane, but I know that they used to have cooperative agreements. All the county fire departments, I think, had cooperative agreements, except maybe for Linton. They're a full-time department.
So there's value there,
Yeah.
but obviously you are the closest outside Crane, I think, maybe Odin. Does Odin have
Richmond. Richmond down in Scotland, or Taylor, I'm sorry, Taylor Township down
that little bitty one there?
down south of Scotland.
Okay, so they got a nice one there in Scotland too, right? We don't know anybody there, so shame on them, I guess.
Yeah.
And they probably don't need a new truck. I mean, they probably got tax revenue coming out the wazoo, right? But there's a lot of big industry coming in there, and they're never going to be able to fight it. You've got hypersonics, you got a $265 billion investment in microchip technology to go into that infrastructure. It's an easy argument to say that you guys can help support that. And a ladder truck fits that mold pretty good. So telling the story is pretty easy, right? The justification of not, because here we could argue that, some of your roads are lower than your, the houses are elevated from the roadways and things, but that might be a tough call. You've only got 2 or 3 higher structures plus your square. I don't know what other kind of industries or anything you have here where you would get, who covers the electric company? Is that you guys?
REMC,
Yeah.
no, that would be,
Dick.
If we had Duke here in town, RMC though would do very. What do you mean cover?
Like if they had an incident, would this firehouse respond, do you think?
it might respond as a mutual aid, but it would not be the initial responder.
So again, we've got a couple large,
Well, we've got Metal Technologies over on the east side of town, which that's a very large structure.
yeah, so I mean, there's a good argument, right? And I kind of made you an outline. I made sure you were eligible. A lot of communities have what's called a 30% buy-in. You're exempt from that. because you have under 100,000 people. I mean, the worst case, you might put an afternoon total into this, and the worst case they can do is not pick you. Now, what I would do is, knowing that it's traditionally underutilized, I would say the firehouse would ask for a fire truck at a fire station. I did another one based on a discussion I had with Jason for a new maintenance garage, infrastructure, streets, sidewalks, safety walk, anything you can think of that makes sure. So the base needs to attract talent and attract industry, which means they need communities that people want to live in.
And we already have a lot of people here in Bloomfield that works there, and so I could see where the need for us to make sure that our roads are clean, that sidewalks are safe, so people are able to get to and from work.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's almost like this thing was custom made for you, because there's nothing over by Eastern Green that could really benefit. They don't have anything there. Odin doesn't, to me, Odin doesn't have the presence you guys have. You know, there's just not a lot happening in Odin, right?
Well, there is, but they have a lot of what do you call it, small businesses. They don't have, I don't think, some of the big, like we have the Jack Factory and Medtech, but
See, other than the Amish and like Graybird, but then you're getting closer to Montgomery versus Odin for some of those businesses.
yeah.
And
Yeah, they just didn't fit the mold.
Is that defined by counties too, or not?
No, I mean, it's pretty, and I'd send Jason the link and we can send it to you again. There's just a fact sheet, an instruction sheet, and like a qualification sheet. Here's what it is, here's what you can apply to. And I took those and I made you two application cases. Again, one for, well, here, I only made 4 copies, so I apologize. There's one for you.
We can share right there.
Okay, let's see, this is, street, and I'll keep a street and then I'll give 2 when we're done. And this one is the fire truck. And I'll give you this one. So what I tried to do was make it very easy. The sources at the bottom are the 3 attachments. Do you guys know if you already have like a SAMS registration for the government?
Yes.
You do? That's your battle. That would have been, in my mind, your biggest hurdle, is if you didn't have that, getting that done.
Okay.
But
I'm not sure what that is.
It's a government website that you go on.
It's the Bible for the Crane government.
Okay.
so you can sell them stuff.
Yeah.
So, or provide services, you know. But building out the 2, and I mean, if you had a good contact at the school and they have time in the next 15 days, so your Pacific time requirement, I think I highlighted on one of them.
25th,
Yeah, it's the
5
25th.
p.m.
But again,
Pacific time.
this is not like some of the other ones, like this SF424 it's literally yes, no, and it's got like a paragraph. And then in there I said, you know, let's ask the base commander for a letter. Let's call down there to all these industries like Havoc that's building a $4 million building that's big, and say, hey, we're doing this grant, we're trying to get this ladder truck. You know, we're probably who they're gonna call, because Crane probably has the only other ladder truck I know of.
Yeah, I think too.
I said, so, you know, would you mind writing us a quick letter that supports us, you know, planning this grant? You staple all that together, send it in, and, you know, let's hope they say, you know, this seems like a good place to put money.
The only thing, our property here is landlocked as far as a fire station. Because we can't go that way with building on, because that is not our property.
Who owns that? Do you know?
Lee, Mr. Lee from Scotland. But our property here is landlocked, so we can't go that way with any garages. So only in the.
What about to the back?
In the back, yeah, but you know, but we cannot build on and go that way with
What
it.
about if we were to build a garage for a ladder truck down where our garage and maintenance area?
So yeah, you can propose anything, because they're not gonna ask you the super
So
detail.
you'd be
And you
better
have
off-
all your uniforms here,
and
so
so
you'd have to come here and get your uniforms on and then go down there, and then if you use the small truck, then they'd have to, see, it would be.
So you would be much better off, in my opinion, to go that way with a building. I mean, not attached to, but, just have a walkway.
I mean, another pole barn at the back that housed the ladder truck and its materials and things that's connected,
I mean,
so they're not gonna dig into.
they're not gonna dig into that, I saw schematics, so you basically take from that over there and rebuild here and move this out that way just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna ask you,
Assuming-
Yeah, just redo all the offices and everything, and build
I mean-
another bay on, so.
You say we do or don't own the back?
We own some of the back, and then the railroad is it the railroad company then owns up into the back here too?
but I mean, it does ask you to break down the money you're asking for, but it doesn't ask for a lot of detail. It just says, we're gonna use this for construction for the firehouse, we're gonna use this to buy the apparatus, we're gonna use this to buy the supporting contents, the tooling and things like that you don't get.
Yeah.
And, I can help some. I'll be out for a couple of days. I'm getting eye surgery tomorrow.
Cataracts?
No, wouldn't.
I just had that.
No.
Anyway, that.
Mishap and blew the eye out, and this is eye surgery about number 9, but she's coming along. So,
Okay, good. Go ahead.
but yeah, so I feel like the fire truck is tying it to the construction is key. So it's worded in a way you could just ask for the fire truck, but they really like to see construction and improvements. One for the highway garage and the street improvements, lighting for safety, public infrastructure, internet, things like that. By golly, counter UAS. You want to talk about a way to say you're going to spend a butt ton of money? Drone detection. We don't want bad guy drones. I mean, that is such a hot button to push.
Yeah.
But I feel like both of these, and then again, if you had someone in the school being able to make the same argument, we want to grow as a community, because God love him, the guy that built those condos there in Scotland, he must be an optimist beyond all reality. But he is banking on these high-income people that are going to come to these new facilities. Because, I mean, it's a 2-bedroom condo is $250,000.
Paving contractor, he called me about 40 minutes ago, he's coming in to do layout.
I think, Jason, the only requirement he had, he said he wanted his garage pink. I'm not sure.
No, it was lime green.
Thanks, buddy.
Greg. You've got my number.
Yes, sir.
Get a hold of me for anything.
But yeah, I mean, I think both of these scenarios, I would do one in the firehouse name and one from the council, and have the council endorse the firehouse, and have the firehouse endorse the council. Because obviously, if you've got roads that are too small for your trucks to get down, or to effectively be able to fight fires and stuff, so you can make arguments either way, but they don't give you enough room to tell your whole story a whole lot. So if somebody can help me put it together, I have tools and things that I can use to like reduce page count and get the point across, and I don't mind helping you do that. If we get out 22nd, 23rd or something right there before it's due.
When is the due date?
The 25th at 8 o'clock our time, PM.
So is there gonna be another grant?
So this comes out every year.
It comes out every year?
25, at 8 o'clock,
8 our time.
8 p.m.
Yeah. So it's an upload. I mean, like I said, you put together the best you can this year, and if they don't pick you up, you can always go after it next year and reword it or, resituate it. But I think they have a lot of money that they want to spend.
So would we want to do this as two separate request one for like the fire truck and the house, the fire building, and then one for maintenance facilities, and that would be a separate.
Infrastructure support and things for the town would be a separate one. The reason I say that is because it gives you, I think if you did if you did 2 or 3 under just the council, they're gonna make you pick one.
Yeah.
But if they can justify that the firehouse is separate from the city, but they tie together to make an overall larger benefit, I think you stand a better chance of getting 2, especially if they're looking to spend money.
Mhm.
You know, and right now, that's what they wanna do, they wanna spend money.
Okay.
I mean, we are historically heading back to the $100,000 toilet seats. So, if that doesn't make you sad, nothing will.
So, okay, so what you've given us here are,
So I made sure you were eligible. I tied the scope of the response for each one, and then I gave you the key components.
okay,
You know, we clearly state Bloomfield's we're eligible, we're exempt from the buy-in, and here's our ask and here's why. And like I said, it's not a huge amount of room, so it's not like we're, you know, there's grants you do that have to be 25, 30 pages long. This one's not that big.
so is there a form that we put this information on?
Yes, it's, so I had sent Jason this link. I'll get somebody's email and send these to you. And then when you submit it, it just has to be in Sam's by 8 o'clock on the 25th. It just has to be
You know,
uploaded.
when you say Sam's, is that the Sam's.gov?
The Sam.gov.
Sam's.gov, okay.
And I can help whoever has your login. I don't care to help you do it.
Okay, I'd be happy to want to try and
That'd be fine,
work on this,
I think it's a good opportunity.
I mean, if you don't bury too much time in it and all they ever do is say no, and on the off chance they say yes, you're way ahead in your budget for 5 years.
You say these are open every year?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ones, right? There's some that are very, very specific to like playgrounds. But they require more work. Like if you said, hey, we want to build the biggest playground in the county and help have this community park to try and draw these new people in that are gonna come, I'd tell you to use something like this than I would the playground grant, because everybody and their mom uses the playground grant. But you can say, I want to build a park. I want to put a water splash park like Bloomington or Cars Park has and things. Because this is the community we want to drive people to that are coming to Crane, because they're going to have high incomes. They're going to drive your school to have to elevate and grow. They're going to be a huge tax base.
I go to a meeting once a quarter down here. It's a White River Valley Military Alliance Company,
Mm-hmm.
and the Crane commanders attend that. And the biggest issue that they have that within all the counties around here is the infrastructure that people they're wanting to hire for these jobs that's currently under construction right now. Is we just don't have the infrastructure like a Bloomington or Evansville or and housing and some of the other restaurants and those type of things are.
Yeah, because if you go to other bases and things, you see a lot of apartment complexes and things like that. So
This type of support here is a stepping stone in trying to help us to get those type of things here that will, entrepreneurs can come here and look and say, hey, they've got things that can support what I want to do here.
well, I mean, because to me, this is actually a better setup for bringing in even small businesses, right? Having some, trying to get those entrepreneurs and investors to come here and create facilities that people will move into. And of course, you've got 5 years to do this. So it's not like somebody has to sit down and figure out how I'm gonna buy this truck and build this firehouse and everything. You know, maybe you buy the truck pretty quickly, but then you take your bids and you go through your normal process, and it takes 2 years to do the building. You know, they're gonna ask you for an annual accountability statement, that's all they're gonna ask you for. And, you know, being just point blank, the reason I'm a big advocate for this is because people are lazy. As long as you send your stuff in, nobody's reading it. I mean, it's just the bottom line. It's an unfortunate byproduct of where we're at, but a lot of people, you know, if your job's to sit there and make sure that, you know, Bloomfield sent in their accountability statement, they're gonna, yep, there it is. And I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong, I'm just saying they don't put, and they specifically put it into words that they're not gonna tear into it.
It doesn't require a lot of administrative.
No, there's not a lot of administrative oversight because they're telling you they're not gonna look at it that hard.
As long as we, and it'll certainly be on the up and up from.
Yeah, I mean, there's some that they look at really hard, especially like if you were to say, hey, we're gonna bring in, you know, some type of high-end technology or something because we want to offer some type of infrastructure that no community around here has.
Yeah.
That one they might scrutinize a little more because, you know, you're looking at, you know, some type of high-end technology that they want to make sure that the money's being spent properly and that, you know, at the end of the project, the infrastructure is really going to be there. But some stuff like the building firehouses, fire trucks, roads and things, I mean, you can send pictures with your report and say, hey man, we rebuilt 27 streets, you know, we were able to fix drainage, we were able to control water flow, disease, whatever. Those are easy stories to tell.
Yeah.
Things that you already have as challenges.
I know, we talked about this a while ago, but, you know, getting a signature letter, we have Paragon Force in here in Bloomfield. We used to have SCIC, they moved to Eastgate in Bedford, but I was employed with them, but we have Paragon Force who contracts on crane.
Mhm.
Right here off, you know, down.
Well, and like Jason said, you got the metallurgy place, you've got, you've got the school. The school sits at a really weird angle. So, I mean, if you go in to fight that school, if you want to get over top of it, you probably don't have any way to do it.
That's true.
I mean, if you had to fight from out in front of the street and get over top of that gym, you probably don't have anything that does that. You know, next year you might look at it again and partner with your police force and get them stuff. Or, you know, rebuild your radio infrastructure across the county and things. I mean, again, this one's so easy to use because it just doesn't take that much time. And, you know, you can make big improvements pretty quickly because I don't know what it costs to fix a highway or a street, but, you know, it tells you clearly it has to be, your ask has to be in excess of $250,000. Like they don't even want to hear anything less than that.
And I think the fire truck itself is probably, a ladder fire truck. is
That and
probably
the equipment with it, and then
twice that, I would think.
I looked online and like that E1 out of Tampa or whatever, and like a brand new cutting edge ladder truck was like $2 million.
So
Because I think we
get Randy,
paid almost $1 million for that one.
is that right?
Mhm.
We get a fire chief to give us a list of things that we need, you know, the type of equipment and how big a facility, big, the firehouse needs to be, compartment for that and so forth, so.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just, you know, get in there and do your numbers the best you can and try to account for
Really, you
inflation.
know, if we replace that ladder truck with a new ladder truck, trade that ladder truck in, we really would need to build a building, you know what I mean? But you've gotta base it off construction, or
You do.
kind of construction, so, you know what I mean? Because you're not gonna want to have 2 fire
So-
trucks, 2 ladders.
Here's a thought. Is it Felon that's down here, does the emergency
Yeah.
response training?
Mhm.
I don't know these folks, right?
I know,
Are they good people?
yeah.
So, what if you went with your idea but your construction project was instead a fire and first responder training ground. Back there behind Palmyra or wherever you want to put it.
They
Then
just
you-
opened a second one uptown.
That's another, yeah.
But does anybody have like the connexes with like the stairs and, you know what I'm talking about, like the big fire training facilities and the smoke rooms and everything?
I know they redone all the Beechwood Lake for that, I rekeyed all that, for them to do training purposes out there, but I don't know what all they have out there now, but.
I mean, you might be able to talk to them and say, what could we build rather than altering the firehouse if that's not necessary? Say, we need the ladder truck and we need training facilities that teach us to do elevated rescue and response. Because having a ladder truck, but only knowing how to climb the ladder, you know, so building one of those Connex compounds, and then you don't have to worry about if it's right here. Maybe you have some property you could utilize someplace else and build one of those container training facilities. And if you build that, now you potentially have another source of revenue for the county because you can lease that to other fire departments for training. And maybe building on the firehouse is not ideal. So these are things to chew on. I mean, maybe we don't do it this year. Maybe we build on the firehouse and, you know, we build bunk rooms or a tower for drying hoses. That one, we did that one at Seymour. We took an old National Guard Armory building, chopped the top off of it, and made a tower tower for drying hoses. Yeah. So, and I'm, like I said, happy to help. Got lots of cool tools to help with writing and things. I just need to know mindset, strategy, and I'll do what I can to help.
Sounds good.
Sandra, do you have any issues, concern from what you're hearing here for us? I mean, you're saying this would be 100%, there's no matching?
No, and I clearly put that in there for you. And when you read the documentation, so the only, if you have in excess of 100,000 people within your town, then you have a matching. Right now, the current census data I could find had you just over 3,000 people. So I mean, unless you can come up with, you know, 970 something thousand people. So yeah, you don't have a cost share or anything.
I just feel that, you know, this is really gonna have to happen quick, and I don't think we're gonna get a estimate that's good. You know what I mean? That's my thoughts, you know.
And I apologize, I should have been, I
know,
hoped to be
that's
here a
just
couple
my-
weeks later, but my basement decided it wanted to be part of my swimming pool.
Yeah.
So,
But that's just my worry, this year's, you know what I mean?
What
Because,
do
you
need
know,
estimates on?
yeah, put, you know, like.
so you just need an estimate on the truck.
Yeah, but then you would, if you're going construction, you'd need the size of the building and, you know,
So,
and then if you're going with the garage, that's the same way. We have the land for it down there, but we don't have, you know, you don't have no idea what your construction cost's gonna be. And then you put your hint in low, and then all of a sudden, instead of 2 million, it's 3 million.
well, and I would
Then-
definitely,
See what I'm saying? That's what I'm worried about.
and I would
this.
plus up any grant I had, right? Like I would,
We don't need to provide, written estimates, you just need.
no, it just tells you to itemize how you're doing it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So, like if I knew I called like a post barn building place and told them what I wanted, within a couple of days you typically get a thing back, right? I would look at that and I would add 8%. And that's what I would plan because that's easy, right? It's flex money. You might run into something in the foundation, the wall, an unknown that we don't want to have to take money out of anything else for.
Because I mean, there'd be no way.
But I mean, like those Connex facilities and stuff, those things are turnkey. Like you order those and they come as somebody comes and builds it for you. Those are like a catalog item. Like you can know what you're gonna buy. They say, how much ground do you have? And then they give you 4 or 5 models to choose from. So, you know, again, adding a garage bay or something on, you know, it would be a tight crimp. You know, your estimates from the fire chief on equipment would be sufficient for your, you know, coming up with your supporting items number. You know, and he probably has a recent estimate on his wish list truck.
I'd say he's got an idea of what he needs and then let him, start running some numbers.
Hey, you can, like I said, it comes out every year. If you feel like it's gonna rush on things, you know about it now, Jason knows how to find me. If I see something that comes later.
That's the only thing that I'm concerned about, is your time frame, and then trying to hurry up with something, and then put something in, and then it's the low bid ball, you get chosen, and then here they want you to do it. Well, then we find out we don't have enough money to do it, and if you do it that way, can you go and ask for more money on these same construction projects?
So you would probably go into the next years and say, hey, times have changed, steel went up, this went up, this went up. We're asking for 1.2 million to supplement what you've already awarded.
But then if you don't get awarded, you have a 1.2
You would then be trying to figure out how to fix it. So, and so definitely any quote or estimate you have, put a reasonable markup on it to give you that inflation and things like that. I mean, once you sign a deal on the truck, theoretically the truck would get delivered at that cost, no matter what. But like if you sign on a building or something like that, there's unknowns there that you want to be able to absorb, or if you're going to build up, a whole other thing. With that, say you decide, okay, we're going to go with the container thing. What kind of insurance do you have to have if you're going to do that? Maybe even for your own people, or if you decide you want to lease it, maybe you need to build that cost in so that you don't have to try and pay that out of the county, because you'd be really sad if you had that there and then you didn't have the money to buy the insurance policy. So I'm happy to help any way I can. Like I said, I don't get anything out of this. I like Jason a lot. I've coached Cash on soccer for a few years. They do track with my kids. And this is just one that just really jumped out to me.
Okay.
What's your phone number?
812-405-6159. I'll get you guys cards out of the Jeep there too. I was telling Jason the other day, and we had a storm come through and a branch fell on top of my Jeep, and I didn't see anything wrong with it. I went out and got the Jeep this morning, turned the first corner and got a bath, and then it sat there at the office all day. When I backed out of my spot there, this 100-degree water off that black Jeep come down through the top, and I was like, oh, I guess I know what I'm doing tonight. Go home and figure out why my Jeep's leaking.
Yeah.
All right, well,
So
we need to digest some of this, and we will see, we'll talk it over a little more and see where we want to go from here with that.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'll put it
And on that one, I'll just wait.
We'll try to make a go of this, and I'll probably be calling you. And where do you live, in Fayetteville?
I'm in Fayetteville, but I work in the park 3 days a week, so.
Okay.
You know Dennis Mounts? He lives in Fayetteville. I worked with him at property management on base.
Oh, okay. We came there in 2009, so we've been there since then. Wife works on base, and I came here when I retired from the military, so. I have a lot of kids, so I have to work until I'm pretty old. I have 7 kids and 3 grandkids.
We have a lot of kids.
27 to 11, so. Well, we adopted the bottom 2 because they were growing so fast, and my goal was not to have to mow my yard ever. So I just went down that road and get me 2 beautiful little girls that hopefully one of them want to mow. I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
If you guys reach out, or Jason can find me, and I'll jump out here and correct it. All I've got is my actual business cards for work, but it's completely not work related. This is more me
I get your number, and we'll,
trying to help you out if I can.
yeah, appreciate it.
Yep, I'll grab you a couple cards and I'll be out of here.
Thank you, Greg.
We'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting.
I recommend we, for adjournment,
So moved.
second, or,
Yeah.
we So
Yeah, we're
I
in
guess
favor, yeah,
all those in
2-0.
favor